What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. Loads and loads going on, but before we do anything, I just want to say thank you for so much support that you guys have been giving me. I've had a lot of new subscribers recently and views are just going through the roof and everyone seems to be enjoying everything, which is really, really good. When that happens, you feel like you're, doing the right thing for everyone to enjoy. The best thing about it is I'm just doing the stuff that I like, but it turns out that you guys like it as well. So that is awesome, and thank you very much, everyone. So what is going on then? Well, there's always a little bit of a mess on this table because I'm always producing new tanks or coming up with new ideas or in the process of building something. So for instance, at the moment over here, look, I've got something going on which is quite cool. This is going to be like a terraced tank. I've done it with these cool bricks. They're actually one slab and I've cut them all up into these quite cool sort of brick layers, and we can just do stages of plants if you like, which means it will look staggered, really cool, but there'll be loads of swim room as well. It's gonna be a really, really cool betta fish going in this one. It's looking really good. This is the super fish tank, by the way, guys. It's a Scaper Cube. Scaper Cube 60, this one is. Comes with the light, comes with the filter, comes with the tank, comes with a leveling mat, comes with the black background, and it comes with a fertilizer as well. So it's such good value for money, but there's more on that when it's the build video. It's not ready yet, as you can see, obviously. I'm just producing this one here for some amazing endlers that I'm gonna be getting. Quite a cool hardscape, yeah? Quite sort of dramatic from one side and then sort of a bit tamer in the other, so that your eyes are sort of pulled this way a bit, I think. Anyway, I don't really care about all that stuff. I just like to make it look like dramatic and then pretty with plants. But yeah, open foreground is going to be really, really good looking tank. I am having a few slight issues though with the shrimp owls. I mean, I say issues, it's got a little bit of green water, a little bit of cloudiness. I'll do a water change and clean up the glass. I think the glass is making it a little worse than it is. It's covered in sort of like green spot algae. Normally, if you are going to do just a water change on green water, it will just come back because you haven't really stopped the reason for it. You normally need a bit of a UV sterilizer. Now I've got little mini ones that I can put in this tank, but I'll just do a water change first and just see how it goes, to be honest. Sometimes that can be enough to upset the balance that's causing the green water. Not always though, but it's worth a shot. There we go, all fresh water in there now. Shrimp seem very happy. You can still kind of see, probably not on camera, but there's small particles of like algae or greenness. And that's probably the reason why green water doesn't just go from a water change, because it's still technically present and it will just keep multiplying. You have to kill it so it stops multiplying. But we'll see, maybe that's gonna sort of balance it out, I don't know. But it's a really nice shrimp in here though. We've got a good collection and I'm absolutely sure there's going to be babies in no time as well. I've already seen some buried that aren't buried now, so maybe there are some babies in there now, I'm not seeing them. When I just took the water out then, I made sure I covered up the inlet with a bit of net, so to make sure that nothing actually went into the pipe other than water. So today is Thursday, and Thursday is always a fun and exciting day for me because it is plant delivery day from Aquafleur. What have we got in here? It's quite weighty. I mean, I know what we've got in here because I ordered it, but most of the time I forget half of what I've ordered. So it's always a nice surprise. It's like Christmas every Thursday. Okay, there we are. We've got really, really good selection here. Basically, these are all boosters, and I ordered a couple of all the different types of boosters that are on offer. I just want to do a whole tank that's just full of boosts. How cool would that be? Like make a structure and just cover it everywhere. Maybe a few other details as well. I also got lots of carpeting plants. So I've got Micranthum micromoides, which is pearlweed. Then we've got Glossostigma, which always grows really, really well for me. Then we've got HC, and we've got Monte Carlo as well. So there's options. And then this whole lot here, this back section, is all crypts. Every single one of these is a crypt. I ordered 2 of everything just so I got like all the different variants. And again, a crypt tank, I think that'd be really cool as well. When I say like a crypt tank and a boost tank, I don't mean just that, but that'd be predominantly the plant. You normally want a few other things with details and fast growers as well, otherwise you're just asking for trouble in the kind of setups that I make. Okay, we are restocked again. So I've put all the boosters and all of the carpeting plants in here, ready to go for new projects. And then down in this tank is all of the crypts as well. So yeah, ready to go. So it's now been nearly a week since you last saw some of those clips, and since then, look, we have built the Endler tank and it's doing so well. All the plants are settled in, the fish are settled in, they're always out in the front as well now. So yeah, this is the Endler tank. Now I wanted to go for something low budget. A few people saying it's not low budget because the amount of plants I've got in there. Well, yeah, you're kind of right, I guess. But I was just sort of showing how yours could be if you start off with a few small pots and let it all grow in. But look at the Endlers. They're already just so well coloured up. They're on the females constantly, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if we have babies very, very shortly. Oh, look, little cleaner shrimp, mono shrimp, just doing his thing. But yeah, there's actually 6 females in here, but we're only seeing 4 at the moment. And quite often with female guppies or enders, when they're about to give birth, they go and hide somewhere down low, ready to just sort of spit out all the young. Because obviously it doesn't make sense in the wild to do it out in the open. So they go and find a little area, and hopefully that's what they're doing at the moment. We'll have a load more babies soon, because I would just love to have a tank full of these Santa Maria endlers. Look at that, leave her like that. Not all 3 of you, crikey. And Kate has returned to work. So it looks like I'm gonna have to pay you after all, babes. No talking. Ah, but we've got the smiles. You did say no talking, sorry. But yeah, she's just cleaning up the rainbow tank, which if you remember me saying in the last sort of update, I said about the algae that was being treated. If you have a look at all of it now, so you see those pink, those pink wisps everywhere. Well, that is basically the algae dead. So lots of you asking, how am I treating the algae to get it to die like that? Well, it's just an algicide. So I used a CO2 booster from API. Now, I wouldn't tell you this, and API wouldn't tell you this, but I've read somewhere that some people do double the recommended dose, and that can really work well against fighting algae. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying that I read it somewhere. Kate has just said, are you telling them to do that? And I said, no, I'm definitely not telling them to do that. So now that the algae's sorted in this tank, it's gonna go from strength to strength. It looks so much better when we first did it because it was quite bare in some areas. I will need to start trimming back some plants soon. It's taking up a bit of swim room, but the rainbows don't mind it at all. They can swim right down either side. They can still do a full loop of the whole tank. And I mean, they're healthy as hell, aren't they? Look at the colours on them. They're just so vibrant and beautiful. Now, one of the main reasons we're getting such good growth, of course, is because we have got 2 lights from Superfish up here. I've never actually used 2 lights on a tank before, but these ones, sorry, I've used weaker ones, but these are both very powerful. So it does explain why we did get a little bit of algae. Now that I've treated that, sometimes, well, most of the time when I treat algae like this way and it dies off, it doesn't come back. Some people will say that if you haven't treated the source cause, it will come back, but we'll see. If it does come back, it'll be a good while before it does, and then I could just treat it again. It doesn't take a lot of treatment. I think I did 3 days in a row of doing certain doses, and it killed it all off, and I haven't had to treat it again. Once it's pink, it will just get eaten off by the fish. I've got Siamese algae eaters in there, and it shouldn't come back, especially given the fact that all the floating plants are just growing more and more, and obviously the roots are going to be drawing up loads of nutrients as well, and if the algae hasn't got nutrients, it can't grow. Well, I actually need to get prepared today for tomorrow, because tomorrow we've got a special guest come in. That's right, Matt's come in. We're escaping that tank you can see behind me, the empty one, and I'm going for something like really, really cool that you guys suggested in the previous comments on the previous videos, what I mean. So I said to you, should it be an all red tank, like a 4-foot version, because we've done a 2-foot and a 1-foot, so it'll be the next one in the saga, if you like, or should I do like a real low-tech nature aquarium? And by low-tech, I just mean like budget lighting, or not crazy expensive lighting, and no CO2. It still have a filter, this one, because it's going to be a lot going on in there. I'm going to have a lot of fish as well, and you can't really do sort of ecosystem tanks without filters if you're putting a lot of fish in. So this is going to have a lot of fish in it. It's going to be like tons of different tetra. It's going to be so cool. So it's now been weeks since the last clips that you've seen, and you can probably make out behind me there, look, the tank has actually been built. It's been ready for 2 weeks as well. Now normally when I do a build video, I just get long stems and everything, put it in the background, and that's it, it's done, we can put the fish in and go. But with this one, I didn't have a ton of stems available that were really long. I had brand new ones, so I planted them all, and I've waited it out, which is something so hard for me to do, like being patient. Nah, it's not one of my fortes at all. But I've been patient. It's been 2 weeks now, and I just went and got some cleanup crew as well. So there's a diatom phase, about 2 weeks, you normally get that. I've got the cleanup crew for that. and the plants at the back are growing up through. So shortly we'll be getting the fish for it, and then you can see that build video. I'm not going to show you it now. Oh, maybe I'll show you a little bit now. Okay, that's all you're getting. It's kind of like a traditional style. It's similar to one I've done before, but a massive improvement. It's going to be full of tetras, and it's going to be so cool. So look out for that coming in the next week or so, something like that. So I'm now over at the Santa Maria tank here, the Santa Maria Endler tank, and the shrimp owls. And in a previous video, some of you might have seen, I did a water change on this and said, sometimes if you do a water change, the green water doesn't come back. That was utter rubbish, because look, it has completely come back. But it's so healthy. Doesn't look great though, does it? It's very much like some kind of pea soup. But if we come in really close here, look, I don't know if the camera will pick up, there we go. There are little water fleas. Is it Daphnia? I'm not entirely sure what the actual name of these is, or are. Oh, hang on, it's going to struggle to focus. But anyway, the water is so clean, and all the shrimp are doing really well. And I've seen babies. I can't see them now. Can I see them now? No, I can't see them now. But I have seen babies in there. And when shrimp are breeding, I sometimes don't really like to change things. But, you know, there is a way of getting rid of this. Now, green water can be an absolute pain, really annoying for some people because they just don't know how to get rid of it. The way to get rid of that is a UV sterilizer. It's as simple as that. You can buy them super cheap, to be honest. You can get them in line for your canister, or you could just buy a hang on the back that's got one, or, you know, you can buy internal ones. I've got a little mini internal one that I could put in here. I'm probably not going to, because I can't be bothered. No, that's not good, is it? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Normally what I would do is just strip it down and start again, to be honest, because I like making tanks and I don't see no problem with that. But I do like this one. I like how it's going. You can't see it now, but there's actually like a full carpet going on and a no filter tank. Sometimes you do just get green water and you've got to deal with it. If I UV sterilize the tank, I don't have to keep that going. Once I've got rid of whatever is causing the green water, it doesn't return because you've killed off everything. But if you do a water change, there's still some of it's a form of algae, so there's still some in the water and it just multiplies again. So that's why just doing a water change isn't enough, because there's still traces of it. You're never going to get out all the water, are you? Now, although the shrimp owls are having a few problems, I'll tell you a tank that isn't, and that's this one here. So this is the Endler tank, the Santa Maria Endlers. The mums, look, the mums, the females are bursting. Look at her. She's ready to give birth soon, which is going to be great. I love these Endlers. They're some of my favourite Endlers I've ever kept. And what I want to be able to do here is breed them and get loads of them. I mean, isn't that ultimately what everyone wants with their favourite Endlers? And look at them, they're such a cool fish. They look completely different to any other kind of live bearer, I think, as well. So the fish themselves, yeah, doing great, but I tell you what else is doing great is just the general plant health and the tank in general as well. The cleanup crew put in here, which, there you go, there's an Amano just running to the back, doing such a good job. Never had any algae in this at all. And when you think there's a pretty decently powered budget LED light, it's budget, but it packs a punch. It's got good wattage and it's quite close to the tank as well. But we've not got algae everywhere, which is really awesome. Like I say, it's thanks to these guys, basically. They're just going around constantly pecking at everything, and it's just doing a fine job. So as many of you know, I've been an advocate for like no filter tanks for a long time now, and they're great, don't get me wrong. They are, in my opinion, the hardest tank to set up. I've now done CO2 ones and things like that, and to be honest, if you put CO2 on your tank, the plants grow so fast. I find it incredibly easy personally. But then I only make easy tanks, don't I? I make sure there's tons of plants that do it all for me. It's just my style of fish keeping and what I like. But this tank here is a good example of I set this up initially as a no filter tank, and then I just stuck in a little filter, a tiny one. It costs next to nothing. It uses barely any power, but what it does do is push a bit of water around. And the difference between having a tank that's got water being pushed around and one that hasn't what I'm trying to say is there is a big difference. It's so much easier. So no filter setups are great, and sometimes they're absolutely nailed, dialed in and do perfect. I've got ones myself that do that. And then other times you'll set up another one doing similar methods, and it does what this one has done with the green water, and then you've got to put a filter in anyway to clear it and whatnot. I think moving forward, I'm just going to go with the tiny sort of filter option, even if it's a sponge filter, something like that. Anything that just gives a little bit of water movement it seems to work so well. So bear that in mind if you want to do like no filters. It is really, really hard, to be honest. It's one of the hardest things to do. It's probably why I also found it so rewarding as well. So earlier on in the video as well, I showed you this tank here, remember, and it had some of that algae that was being sort of burnt off, if you like, from the algicide CO2 booster. If I come around now and take a look at it with you, here we go, look at this. I mean, there's a little bit of a green spot on the glass. Ignore that for the minute, but none of the leaves at all. There is no algae anywhere inside the tank that we've seen before, that sort of thready algae. It does need a scrape, I will get onto that. It also needs a trim up. Look at that, I'm loving how fantastic it looks. But it's got to the point now where the fish are struggling for room and they're not swimming around in circles as much as they were. So I'm gonna give that a trim up. Not now, you don't need to see that. You've seen me trim plants before. Look at that. Awesome skunk cory down there. One thing that is good about having like a really densely planted tank like this is you do see the cories more now. They feel more sheltered and you can just see them coming in and out and exploring far more than usual. Normally they tend to hide quite a bit until there's food present in the water column. But like you can see there, he's just chilling. We can take a look whenever we want. And yes, those of you wondering about Timmy and what's going on with his tank, well, I'm going to be building him a new one. I've ordered him some stuff for his new tank and it still hasn't arrived. It's been 2 weeks. I don't think it's coming. I'm going to have to order it and wait again. It's not something you can just get off the shelf, so I have to wait. But it's going to be worth the wait in the little guy. You're going to have a great tank. Cool. So there we go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that little update. We've just got so many things happening at the moment. I've also, in the next video, well, the next sort of vloggy video, non-build video, I've got 2 more 4-foot tanks coming in here. Where am I going to put them? Well, I don't know yet, but I'll find a space. I always find a space for more tanks.